All right, back with Pilot Blue Gremlin in the Stormweaver. We have entered a new phase of our relationship with the Republic and a transition point in the Free Worlds campaign. We're about to no longer be at war with the Republic, and we're about to go after whoever it was who set off the nukes um, and started this whole mess. Apparently, a rogue group in syndicate space. Katya is back, and we're supposed to meet Raven, the Navy intelligence officer, in the spaceport. So let's do that. Uh, let's see. Oh, nope. That's not. How did we miss doing that? There we go. Oh boy, I've had barking dogs and sinuses and wife hollering at me and people choking on hot sauce and audio issues, but I think we're okay now. All right, on your way to the spaceport, you feel Katya in on the state of the war. She says that intelligence had been keeping her in a relatively comfortable but totally isolated cell, so she's not even sure what world it was on. From the fact that her questioners seemed to be growing increasingly frustrated about the free worlds. This is one thing when you're reading and you're reading aloud. Sometimes sentences are just structured such that your mouth has to make a lot of weird movements to make the words, and it just feels wrong. And this is one of those sentences. From the fact that her questioners seemed to be growing increasingly frustrated about the free worlds, she knew that you were still managing to resist the Navy, but they did not share any details with her. You meet up with Raven in a small tea shop, close enough to the spaceport that the tables shake each time another Free World's capital ship arrives in response to the Syndicate attack. Thank you for allowing me to land here, says Raven. Now, what questions do you have for me? Are we at peace? I think we know that. Are you some sort of mind reader? I think she is. What exactly is the job of Navy intelligence? Oh, we're going to get to ask all the questions. Okay. She says, I assume your real question is why does Navy intelligence exist at all, since the Republic already has a very powerful, well funded, and nearly de- omniscient Department of Intelligence that exists independent of the Navy? The short answer is we don't trust them. Someone needs to watch the watchers. Also, having been, I won't say involved with Navy intelligence, but in the Navy intelligence, such as it is involved with things that the Navy needs to be concerned about that, the other internal security or external security doesn't necessarily need to worry about. Uh, so there is some definite take the load off of like the FBI because naval intelligence can check on things versus uh, the federal assets being have other federal assets having to be used. Plus, the Navy has its own intelligence briefings for its uh, people with security ratings, and those are always interesting, and those are run by Navy intelligence. So, certainly, in my experience in the actual Navy, uh, naval intelligence. Intelligence. And at that time, it was called Naval Intelligence Service, NIS, not NCIS. I guess it sounds better for the cameras. Uh, but at that time, it was definitely not something that you wanted watching the watchers. They were pretty corrupt. It was awful. Okay, digression over. Are we at peace with the Republic now? Well, only Parliament can decide that, but the Navy has been ordered not to attack the Free World ships, and the news that Sawyer brought has become public knowledge. So you'll find that most Republic worlds will be willing to welcome you now. Katya asks, what do we do now? Will Sawyer's into evidence be enough to end this war? Raven says possibly, especially because the syndicate incriminated themselves by chasing after him. But the syndicate has so much power in Parliament that the more evidence we can collect, the better. And that means we should visit the world where he said the development was done and look for more evidence. Katya says, Captain Gremlin, is Eyes Springborn still working for the Free Worlds? You tell her that the last you heard, Eyes was helping to found a new university on Winter. She says, we should bring him with us. Raven, will you be traveling with us too? Yes, she says. I'll tell my ship and crew to get ready. All right, so we're going to Winter. Oh, and just so you know, I have figured out the deal with chat. I've got the chat window open right here if you want to tell me how beautiful I am or something. Let's see. I'm in a good mood. Job board. We're going from Alioth, mining, fly through. Yeah, mining, no good. All right, we're going to Winter. So we've got a load going to Winter. We've got now 4 passengers there on a deadline. And what's this one up here? 5 passengers also on a deadline. Yeah, we're not doing any deadline jobs at the moment. We're only taking jobs that we have a just passenger bunks. All right, so to Winter. I got so many ships. Let's go down through Adilhabon to get there. But we're gonna definitely end up at Winter, so 216 profit. And notice I'm leaving some cargo space free. That's in the unlikely event we run into something I want to plunder rather than capture. I have space to plunder it with. And also in case we pick up any flotsam and jetsam, uh, just random cargo floating around. You'll hear the um, what are they called? The uh, well, whatever. You'll hear them go, and they'll grab things. Let's see. Let's depart. And we got a big recruit. And we're gonna go down to here. Everybody's ready. And now that we're there, we're gonna, nope, we're gonna go, nope, we're gonna go down to here. What I'm trying to do is avoid having my ships without jump drives head the wrong direction because, you know, that was the quickest way for a jump drive to get, but it didn't work for regular hyperspace lanes. At some point soon, we'll take the jump drive out of our flagship. And the reason we'll take the jump drives out of our uh, flagship is because in the Free World campaign, they give you a jump drive if you don't have one. And they don't care that 15 other of your ships do have jump drives. As long as your flagship doesn't, they'll give you one. It's free jump drive. Landing on winter. Drop off your cargo of marble. Colonists hand you 500,000. Passengers 500 or 50,000, 272,000, 429,000, 644,000. So I like hauling passengers. I like being a bus. The moment you land, Katya is eager to visit the conservatory and find eyes. In the time that he has been here, it has grown into a small but bustling community with crowds of students walking from building to building carrying backpacks and wrapped in thick coats. You find Eye's office. Katya knocks and says, Professor Springborn, are you having office hours right now? He recognizes her voice immediately and comes running out of the office to hug her. Katya, you're free. Is the war over? Not quite, she says, but we found the bombers. Apparently, the whole thing was sponsored by the syndicate. Do you still have those isotopic fingerprints we collected back when this whole thing began? Eyes quickly finds the data and collect his equipment. I'll just have to let them know I need a substitute for a while, he says. Back at the spaceport, you meet up with Raven. Here's the deal, she says. We need to get to Mutiny, destroy any syndicate ships that are watching, and then land and hope we have time to collect evidence before more of them arrive. Unless you've got a ram scoop, we may need to bribe our way onto a few syndicate worlds to refuel. And of course, I'll be counting on you to help keep my ship safe. Any questions? No, I'm ready to go. Or won't they have destroyed any evidence long before we get there? No, I know the answer to that. That's why we picked up eyes. No, I'm ready to go. Let's see. Sell my goodies. Job board. Mutiny. Travel to Mutiny. Oh. Yeah, that's a long jump. Um, if I go to Altair and land on Altair, then everybody can make it there. All right, so let's look and see what Altair needs. Foods. Let's see what other jobs we can pick up that are just passenger. One passenger to cornucopia. We'll take your money. No, those are both time sensitive. Those are all time sensitive. 42 people hoping to join a colony. So I got a commune in the basement of the ship. Oh, something up to memory? Nope. Cosmetic implants to Munin. All right. We checked all those. So off we go to Altair. get there way before the rest of my ships. Because of the jump drives. We gotta wait for Raven anyway. Everybody in system? Sell all. Job board. Raven. What does it have? It's a pirate ship. Hostile shipyard outfitter. And they need plastic. So let's get some plastic. And look at the jobs. 37 people, colony on J Glaze, another 400,000. What do we got up here? 33 people, colony on Oasis, 600,000. Family of 6 going to Oasis, 60,000. Take all those jobs. All right, and we are going down to here. We're going to there and meet up. Yes, yes. Slow speed. Information. Red dot. Princess has been destroyed? No, no, no. I go with them every step of the way. What's our mission? Bring Eyes, Sawyer, and Katya to Jenna. Destroy any syndicate ships that are watching you, then land on Mutiny. All right. All right. That's our thing. All right. So we want to land on Mutiny. Land. You've reached Mutiny, but you've either left Raven's ship behind or failed to destroy some of the syndicate's ships watching you. Oh. I'm waiting for Raven, apparently. That's Raven. Okay. You skim low over the surface of Mutiny. Boy, that was more difficult than it should be just to do that. You skim low over the surface of Mutiny, with the airlock slightly open to allow eyes to collect atmospheric samples. He's dressed in a pressure suit, and over the suit's radio he says, "Any residue that's here will be very faint. Just a few more minutes." Sawyer directs you to the site where the secret development took place. Nothing is left but a wide and slightly overgrown clearing. After checking your radar and seeing no incoming ships, you risk landing. Sawyer says that there were buildings here a few years ago, but now not even their foundations remain, and a sensor sweep for metallic objects turns up nothing, not even as small as a single nail. Well, that's suspicious. Uh, However, Ice points out a few subtle signs of human habitation. A clearing like this would normally form in a fire, he says, but notice no fire scars on the trees on the edges of the clearing. Raven says, and our geophysical radar is picking up structures underground, several deep shafts and rock that's been stressed and fractured by a large explosion. They did a good job of hiding everything else, but if you scar a planet that badly, it doesn't go away. The stones speak. Ooh. As you continue inspecting the site, suddenly Raven's co-pilot shouts out the door of her gunboat at you. "Syndicate ships have entered the system. We need to get back to Earth with the evidence. Quickly." Great. What's going on? Take them all out. Back to Earth, huh? Let's do it. Wait for everyone to show up. thought those guys were supposed to be on the inside. Did I move them? Oh, you know what? It's the wrong list. I need to move them in the, yeah. Okay. So we're waiting for a Raven ship still. Yep, I don't see her. Maybe we don't need Raven. Let's land. You have reached Earth, but you left Raven's ship behind. Better depart and wait for them to arrive in this star system. Need some sort of scanner blocker. Good grief. There's Raven. Nope, that's one of my gunboats. Well, poo. Yep, that's a big fleet. Still got 6 cruisers. And we're still waiting on Raven. Oh boy, isn't this exciting? This is when we need the big wall of text to read. Where can she be? Says there some in Delta Capricorn. It says they're all the way down there. Wow. Fuel tanks. Need more fuel tanks. Yeah. Might as well get a detailed view. There's my turrets. There's some turrets. Turrets back here are the anti-missile turrets. You can see the cruiser here has got 3 turrets, or maybe that's a frigate. That's a dreadnought. Skane. Skane. That's my Arak Hulk freighter cruiser. and the guns. There's Raven. All right, let's land on Earth again. As you come fleeing out of Syndicate space with their ships in hot pursuit, you can't help noticing that no Republic ships moved to help you or attack your pursuers. Apparently, they are not ready to strike the Syndicate and Parliament, or until Parliament has made a decision. As you are waiting for Parliament to hear your evidence, Katya asks you quietly, "So, how are you feeling about our chances here?" What are our choices? I think our evidence is undeniable. There's no way we could fail to convince them. Or I'm worried about how much power the syndicate has in Parliament. What if they refuse to believe us? I'm worried about how much power the syndicate has in Parliament. What if they refuse to believe us? Your pessimism turns out to be justified. Buff's fingers on shirt. The hearing begins well enough with Sawyer's testimony and the additional evidence collected by Eyes and by Raven's team. But when the floor is opened for question, nearly every question the members of Parliament asked seems intended not to get to the bottom of the terrorist plot, but to attack or discredit Sawyer, of course. You can't help but realize how many people here represent syndicate worlds. One of them, an older man, says, "What possible reason would the syndicate have to launch such an attack?" Sawyer says, "They have complex mathematical models of the galactic economy, and those models predicted a coming recession, the worst in centuries. This war forestalled that recession. From a perspective of someone who values economic growth above all else, war was a better alternative than recession." Tried and proven methods. "That's utter nonsense," says the man. "That's the sort of absurd conspiracy theory that someone with no understanding of business would invent." The rest of the hearing is little better, but as you are leaving, one of the representatives from the deep shakes your hand, and you feel a piece of paper being pressed into your palm. You pocket it quietly and open it once you have returned to your ship. It says, "Visit us in Valhalla." All right. The Norsemen are getting involved. Oh, and we didn't get a chance to sell our goods, so they're not worth much. We'll have to carry them with us up to Valhalla. Oh, look, $1 million fare going there, and another 30,000 we'll take. We also have to stop at Memory, so we'll do that too. Ports in Memory, 316 for luxury goods. Oh, what is it for plastic? 254. We'll take the plastic. All right. Bank is good. Spaceport we went to. Outfitter. I don't think there's any reason it's sell off some of this. This is the flotsam and jetsam we pick up. Spare missiles floating around. Pick those up with my scavenger turret. And what does this other one have? He has tractor beam. That's the word I was looking for, tractor beam. So, yeah, you use your tractor beam to pull in pieces and parts. And it's not worth much, but it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Okay, off we go to memory. Friendly territory, so pirates? Yep, pirates. That was my tractor beam. I don't want a dagger. Gang's all here. As instructed, you hand the cube to the first beggar woman you see planetside. She accepts it without a word and leaves. This has to be legal or they couldn't post it on the job board, you remind yourself. Oh yeah, this is a cube that I picked up in Hephaestus like 2 years ago since I've been up here because we've been at war. Uh, your bank account immediately notifies you of the agreed upon payments. You wonder how they knew. You bid goodbye to the scientists. Oh yeah, these scientists that we took out somewhere. I don't even remember where now. And a Wayfarer, I think. And we've been hauling them around for 3 years. It's like 72 of them. It's $1.4 million. Uh, game is so funny. Uh, you receive a brief message from Alondo. Good news, Captain. As a gesture of good faith, the Navy is beginning to pull out of Rastaban and Delta Sagittarii. Those worlds will revert to our control soon. Be sure to tell the others. And tell Katya that I'm very glad she's free and I'm looking forward to seeing her. You pass on his message to Katya and Eyes. All right. Sell all. Spaceport. As you are exploring the marketplace, a man wearing comically thick glasses comes over to talk to you. Captain Gremlin, he asks. You nod. I hear that you're not averse to taking on risks, he says. I'm the lead scientist on a project studying a spatial anomaly in an uninhabited system nearby. We had just launched a probe to study the anomaly more closely when a band of pirates arrived and forced us to flee the system. Would you be willing to travel there and see if you can retrieve the drone's data? I don't care how strong a threat the pirate fleet is, and I want this job. So, sure, I would be glad to. There's no timeline on it. Sure, I would be glad to. Thank you so much, he says. All I need you to do is board the drone and download its database. Unless the pirates have already stripped out the computer, of course. The drone is in the Terminus system, a few jumps away from here. We'll be waiting on bounty in the Delta Velorum system for your return. All right, so we know where that is. That's Terminus. We go there all the time, but now we have a job in Terminus. In Terminus. All right, what do we got here? A department of 100 scientists, notes checked on cornucopia in Alpha Centauri, which we want to go to anyway, so that's a no-brainer. Except 2.9 million. Yes, that's the way we like it. 30 strikebreakers. It feels wrong to haul strikebreakers, but I mean, it's good money. Uh, 6 passengers to Trinket. Get comfortable, guys, because it might be a while before you get there. And 45 tons to Valhalla, which we're going to next anyway for a uh, big secret meeting. And go. I dare say I'm still in a war footing. Drop off your cargo of high performance automobiles and collect your payment. You wish the workers the best of luck and take 29,000. You say farewell to your passengers on Valhalla. Oh, and collect your payment of a million. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. When you land on Valhalla, a man shows up at your ship and introduces himself as Edric Flint, the governor of Valhalla. Ooh. He invites all of you to join him for dinner at his home, which turns out to be an apartment on the 23rd floor of one of the downtown skyscrapers. There, he introduces you to several other regional governors and authorities. Well, this is interesting. You may be aware, Edric says, that the deep was self governing before the formation of the Republic. Indeed, during some of the darkest centuries of the space age, the deep stood out as a beacon of civilization. Of course, the Norse, the Norwegians, the Finns, maybe not so much the Finns, the Swedes, for sure, the Swedes. Uh, the deep stood out as a beacon of civilization, a place where piracy was not tolerated and all travelers were safe. When we joined the Republic, we retained the authority to police our own territory, and that authority includes the right to track down fugitives who have fled beyond our usual jurisdiction. So you're suggesting a police action against the syndicate, uh, or wait before we talk details? Wait, before we talk details, are you saying that you believe Sawyer's testimony against the syndicate? Everyone believes him, says one of the other governors. Ooh. Throughout human space and in Parliament too, we can all see that the evidence is undeniable. What people don't agree on is how to respond to that evidence. We want to see justice done, says Edric. Our proposal is that a fleet under our jurisdiction, but joined by free worlds and Oathkeeper vessels, will travel into the core and arrest at least one of the syndicate masterminds behind the terrorist attacks. Such an action would satisfy the technical requirements of legality, provided that immediately prior to the arrest, one of our courts hears Sawyer's testimony and pronounces the syndicate individual guilty. Uh, Everyone believes him. Yes. Technically legal sounds to me like a euphemism for something we know full well is going to get us in trouble. It's a little long for a t-shirt, but I really like that one. Or how exactly is a fleet of warships going to travel through syndicate space without a massive battle? That is a good question. Um, yeah, let's ask that. I know what technically legal is. That's why the fleet will be composed of ships from three different organizations, says Edric. Aha. You will find a reason to travel to Earth with perhaps one of your fancy new dreadnoughts as an escort. Yeah, right. Plus so many other alien ships and tech. This got literally dozens of warships. Um, uh, duh, 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 duh. With one of your fancy new dreadnoughts as an escort, or four of them. When you arrive, there will just happen to be an Oathkeeper patrol passing through the same system. Ah, Admiral Danforth, I bet. And a merchant convoy from the deep. Merchant convoy. With its own set of escorts, of course. Ah, Falcons. We'd need to know exactly where and on what planet our target lives prior to entering Syndicate space, says Katya. And if you want to have a court trial immediately prior to the rest, it sounds like Sawyer will need to stay here. Indeed, says Edric, but I assure you he is safer from the Syndicate here than anywhere else in human space, your own territory included. As for locating a target, that's why the Oath Keepers have requested that you visit them on Farpoint. The rest of the evening is more casual time for conversation with plenty of good food and wine. Alonso sent dancing, free spirited toasts. Alonso sent you a message to inform you that Terrazid has decided to officially join the Free Worlds after having received word of the Parliament hearing, news that brings joy to Katya and Eyes. At one point, Edric pulls you aside and says, I've requested that you be granted access to some of the new technology that was developed here during the course of the war. In particular, please find space on your ship for a ram scoop. You will need it for your next mission. And also, here, he hands you a data card. This is a copy of Sawyer's evidence in case something happens here. Keep it very, very safe. Dun dun dun. The keeper of the secrets. What exactly can I get? Ooh, I can get electron beams. A heavy laser, range of 400, 102 and 144 per second. Electron beam, range of 450, 144 and 198 per second. And it's 30% bulkier for 40%. Yeah, at least 40% more powerful, at least against shields. So, electron turret, 450, 288, 396, but it takes 54 output bit space, so an additional 14 of the heavy laser turret. And I don't think I have that much. I do, I have plenty of weapon capacity, but I just don't have outfit space because I got a bunch of cool stuff. Um, hmm. Oh, catalytic ram scoop. A new ram scoop from the deep. Ram scoop technology's been almost unchanged. The Deep recently invented a much improved ram scoop for use in their merchant fleets. Ram scoop of 7. The fuel processor from the Korath has a ram scoop of 2. Wow. So ram scoop of 7, a regular ram scoop does a ram scoop of 1. So I think I need catalytic ram scoops to replace 2 fuel tanks on every ship, maybe. Well, to extend the range anyway. I'm tired of having to wait for these guys. I could just sell them, but I like having the extra company. Catalytic ram scoop. Let's look at it just for the Navy ships. Uh, just for the Navy ships. I don't want to change too much. I want to sell any brigs. We don't need those. All right, fuel pods. So catalytic ram scoop. Let's sell that stuff. And all right. So now let's put shields in them. Got catalytic ram scoops for all of those Navy ships. Now let's put shields in them. I'm going to buy as many D94YVs and then however many D67TMs and then however many D41HYs and then however many D33QPs and then however many of those. And then I'm going to buy large radar jammers and small radar jammers. And I'm going to put my fuel processor into cargo, sell my cargo, but not the outfits that I have in there. And of course, not the mission cargo, which isn't much, if anything. Now, let's look at outfitting ships. Oh boy. Ships with electron beams. Let's not do electron turrets right now. All right. Oh, these guys. I don't want to have offensive weapons. Okay, and these guys don't get offensive weapons. All right. So, let's see. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. I like the idea of those. Buy, 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 Okay, so now we look. 4 guns, 4 guns, 4 guns, 8 guns, 8. This one only has 7 guns. Why? We have plenty of weapon capacity, so we need outfit capacity. And we don't have any outfit expansions, so let's buy 2 of those. Buy 3 of those. That'll give us 48. Sell a couple of small radar jammers. And that gives us 56. So let's buy a third electron beam. We'll put on 2 electron turrets and 2 heavy laser turrets, 3 electron beams. For each electron beams. We should go configure that individually or we'll forget it. What's the name of this ship? Imo Sukgip. Yeah, we should change that name too. Uh, information page. Imo Sukgip. Ship info. Let's give it a different name. Imo Sukgip. Eyes and Beasts. Prussian Wonders. Stalwart Sergeant. Pilar. Diana's Dart, Wealthy Surfer, Lunar, Azad, Azad the Thorny. Oh, that's almost too good, but Azad, I like Azad. Okay. It has 4 electron beams, 4 heavy lasers, 2 electron turrets, 2 heavy laser turrets. Ta-da! Okay. What else do we have here in the outfitter? We were just about here with who had 8 guns. All right, 8. Oh, 4, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Another one. What's his deal? Same thing. Bye, bye, bye. Sell, bye, bye. Sell. Oh, you got bullfrog. Why would he have a bullfrog anti-missile? Well, all right, I'll let him keep it. But he also gets an electron turret. Yeah, definitely. All right, a large radar jammer. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Oh, yeah. It was 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. All right. We're good. Uh, job board. So where are we supposed to go? We're supposed to meet the Oath Keepers on Farpoint. All right. What other jobs we got here? 40 scientists go to Asgard in the Norn systems. No, that's not enough. 6 scientists? No. Retrieve a package from Clark. I can do that. All right. We're going up here where they need Electronics. And everything looking okay here. Uh, let's see. Yep. Okay. And I think that was it for the outfitter. I don't think there was anything else we really needed there. So off we go. Now everybody's got decent ram scoops. If they run out of fuel, they can just fly by the scoop and stun a few times. Get enough fuel to a lot of pirate activity in this system. We are in Farpoint, which is right here. It is Farpoint on the northernmost end of human space is a rocky desert planet home to a Republic Navy base and not much else. Farming is possible only within greenhouses, and this system is too far from the galactic center to be desirable for trade or industry. Lately, the Navy base on Farpoint has been growing. It has become the new home of the Navy Oathkeepers, a small branch of the Navy that is sworn to stay uninvolved in the conflict with the free worlds. And yeah, there we go. All right. Everybody here? Nope. Still waiting on a couple. Bit of high speed here. Left Raven ship behind again? Come on. That's my Firebird escort that I captured, and that's her. All right, on Farpoint, you are met by Admiral Danforth, the leader of the Oathkeepers, who previously assisted you to drive the Alphas and their mercenary fleet away from Poisonwood. He is glad to see you again, and you express your sympathy over the loss of Commander Wynne. Danforth tells you that his killer was never found. Eyes and Katya introduce themselves to Danforth, and Katya says, "Sir, I was a child on Hope when the colony was evacuated. Your ship carried my family to safety, and I've never forgotten how every night during our journey you would walk through the cargo bay where we were staying and check to make sure all our needs were met." I've never had a chance before now to thank you in person. Yet that must have been pretty crazy being a kid and being, the glaciers are coming, get in this ship in the cargo bay, set up a tent. Danforth is surprised. "Councillor Reynolds," he says, "thank you. I followed your career in Parliament with some interest, but it is a shame that we never met in person until now. I'm glad that we have this chance to work together at last." Raven says, Governor Edric mentioned a plan for tracking down the syndicate executives who were behind the attacks in the Castor and Pollux systems. Indeed, says Danforth. Southeast of here is a region of uninhabited star systems, a sort of back entrance into syndicate space. Few ships travel through there because there's nowhere to refuel, but with a ram scoop or enough fuel capacity, travel is possible. One of the first inhabited worlds on the other side is the lawless world of Stormhold. I think we have that dominated, don't we? Maybe not. There you can surely find a contact who knows enough about the inner workings of the syndicate to tell you the home of at least a few of our targets for a price. He hands Katya a large stack of credit chips. Oh my. Raven says, I'm going to stay here with the Oath Keepers, Captain Gremlin. It's been a pleasure working with you. We're counting on you to fetch us this information and return here as quickly as possible. Yeah, thank you for staying behind because you're slowing us down all the time. We have to wait days for you to catch up. All right, what do we got here? Regular outfitter. Yep, just not much here because it's a just kind of an outpost. Local map, always a good thing to get. I keep surprising myself going to places that I swear I've been to before, but apparently I never bought a map. So, travel to Stormhold. Well, yeah, for us, it's going to be a jump through space. 25 tons of emergency rations, so that's good. So let's meet everybody here. And what are we gonna? Yeah, we have dominated Stormhold. Um, all right, we're going here or here. No, definitely here. We'll get there pretty quick. What is that? A pirate. And a Corvette. And a Hawk. Navy patrol came through, destroyed all the pirates with missiles. Pretty. incinerate everything. It takes a while to figure out who exactly is in charge here. You sell off parts of your shipment of food to a few different local leaders, receiving 55,000 credits in exchange. You land near one of the small villages on Stormhold, and after handing out a few small bribes from the money Danforth gave you, finally one of the villagers recalls that a local gang of pirates is led by a former syndicate manager. With some trepidation, you fly to his stronghold and he agrees to do business with you. Katya shows him Sawyer's list of names. So these are the bad boys, huh? He says. Clearly, the news of Sawyer's revelations has spread even to this remote world. He looks through the list and is able to tell you where three of the five men live. I'd love to see all these bastards taken down, he says. You give him the rest of Danforth's money and thank him for helping you, and ask that he keep your visit secret. No problem, he says. As you are leaving, he adds, also, Mr. Springborn, you're my hero, man. Glad you're still finding ways to pester the syndicate. Eyes seems pleasantly surprised to be recognized. Good for him. Nice boost for him. All right, so return to Farpoint. Oh, okay. Any merchant convoy, poker players at the bar, protection escort, no. Convoy, no. What is this? Wealthy retirees to follower. No questions asked transport. Hmm. No, that one's shade. Well, energy cannons. I think this retiree one is okay. I'm going to take it. Subsidiary herding is a joke. You can do it. Let's see. Job board. All right. So back to Farpoint through Cardax. And what do they need in Farpoint? Heavy metals. Oh, a bastion that I captured stuck in Rigel because it doesn't have a ram scoop, unlike everything else. The hackers' authorities fine you 15,000 credits. After scanning your ship, law enforcement notifies you apparently the retirees you've been carting around are secretly wanted individuals. After boarding your ship, they arrest the so called retirees and search through their treasured possessions, which are innocent enough, besides being tamed illegally, In the end, they confiscate the possessions and take away the criminals, leaving you with the small fine. You failed one mission after your illegal cargo was discovered. Well, it's not the first time. Probably won't be the last. It was a gray area job. Very gray. Alright, I'm landed. When you land back on Farpoint, Danforth eagerly meets you and asks what information you were able to obtain. You tell him. So, he says, one executive on Foundry, one on Hephaestus. Both of those are core syndicate planets with billions of people on them. No way that would work. But this financial guy, Alexander Soylent, your contact says that he lives on a giant yacht that sails around the ocean on Nimbus. Now, that's a much more inviting target. And from what Sawyer says, the syndicate's financial arm were the ones who decided war would be beneficial in the first place. As you're talking, one of Danforth's officers runs into the room. Sir, he says, we're detecting a pirate fleet incoming. Danforth swears. Oh, this is my real job, of course, he explains. Defending the North from pirate invasion. This isn't the first attack we've had to repulse, and lately Parliament has been finding reasons to reassign my best ships elsewhere. Captain Gremlin, would you be willing to join the defense fleet? We'll finish this conversation once they've been driven off. You hurry to the ship and join the defenders. All those missiles that fire. It's crazy. Navy just has unlimited missiles. As you are landing, Katya tells you, Blue, we just received a message from the Free World Senate. They've arranged for a Republic embassy to be set up on Bourne and a Free World's embassy on Earth. We've been asked to meet the ambassadors on Earth and escort them to Bourne. A few minutes later, Admiral Danforth arrives at your ship. Captain Gremlin, he says, I'd like to thank you for your assistance. He hands you a 1,000,000 credit chip. Thank you, sir. Wow, this is the biggest planetary defense bounty I've ever heard of. No, thank you, sir. Don't mention it, he says with a wink. And now I think it's best that you head to Earth and pick up these ambassadors. And from what I hear, now that Raven is not traveling with you, people are beginning to ask questions about what this Free World's captain is doing flying all around Republic space unescorted. Oh, yeah, I'm special. All right. Outfitter. I keep capturing these ships. It's always a huge mistake. All right. Uh, Job board. Ambassadors from Earth. Yes, back to Earth. We have any good passenger jobs going this way? For tourists to Skymoot. I'll take that. Strike breakers. Nah, I don't want it. All right. Nothing else. So what is this? 84 people are hoping to join. Oh, oh, I've been carrying these jobs for a long time. Okay. Like, why are those over there? All right. Let's go to I don't see any good jobs on the way, so we could just jump there. Yeah, just jump to Earth. Metal. One place. Earth doesn't import hundreds of dollars worth of profit. And I had a bank fine. Man, fast forward. No, none of my stupid Navy ships decide to navigate through syndicate space and run out of fuel in the process. I'm at the point where I need the manpower more than I need the money. And these are free, so use them up. Yeah, you're scanning me. I know. Elnath, Akamar, Difta. Where is this guy coming from? Calf. He's here. Alright. Unfortunately, the Republic ambassadors turn out to match all your worst stereotypes of Republic diplomats. Dressed in gaudy, impractical clothing and carrying an absurd amount of luggage. At first, you are worried about whether you have enough space for them. I've only got 600 tons of cargo space. um, but one of them explains that they would not dream of traveling in your dirty old ship. They will be traveling in style in a Star Queen luxury liner, and your only duty is to ensure their safety. Despite boasting state of the art facilities, you have little choice but to acquiesce. Perhaps they'd rather travel in a Republic staffed crew, even if it would be safer on your own ship. Definitely safer here, because I'll just reboot. Let's see. Da, 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 da. We're going to Bourne. Clear out here. Of course, I hadn't been taking any jobs there, so tourist wants to see Sky Moot. These are going to pay off when we finally get a chance to get to one of these worlds. I damn well better. Picking up a lot of them. Okay. Um, Bourne. Clear over there. Yeah, it's going to take everybody forever to get to me. How about if I run them down here? We'll do the glaze run instead for medical. All right. jumping across. There's next jump Sakinis, Corniforos, and then DeGlace. We gotta wait for everybody else to catch up. Shouldn't be too long. And we got a spaceport, so we can sell that. The ships I've been dragging around. Colonists hand you 413. You say farewell 6,500, 6,500, 1,850, 1.3 million. Okay, that was worthwhile. Shipyard. I want to sell. I really think I'm going to just sell all of these, even though these are Navy gunboats. And that's an Airy. Yeah, it's a pirate Airy, though. Yeah, I just don't need them. 22 million. Let's see if there was anything interested. Yeah, they had electron beams and everything. Oh, wow. Um, Picked up a whole drive. Been waiting for these to show up. S2700 regenerators. Those are slightly better than their 12 outfit space, and they give shield energy of 30, or shield generation of 36. They put out a lot of heat. They take a lot of energy to recharge the shield, and they just eat energy all the time anyway. Whereas the regular ones uh, don't have the heat issue. So we could replace some of those. I have all that I need, I think. And then none of those ships had any. Oh, somebody had. Oh no, that's me. Okay. Yep. All right. Uh, trading, sell, jump board. What? I have another job. Strike breakers to Charon Station. Oh man, 500,000. What else I got here? Someone on Charon Station ordered 9 tons of cheeseburgers. Deliver it today. I can do that. No. Find our ship. Nope. And nope. Okay. No other jobs. So we're going to go up to Charon Station. You deliver the cheeseburgers just in time for the client's game night. 4,000 credits is deposited into your account. It's a lot of cheeseburgers. You unload the strike breakers, and an angry crowd of protesters held back by station security. When you return to your ship, you find that the company has transferred the 500,000 credits into your account. How is our account looking? Yep. Pretty fly. Alright, so ambassadors to Bourne. Now we can make the jump all the way out to Bourne, where they need plastic. The sound effect of the space station that plays during this is quite annoying after a while. It is almost mesmerizing, though. And here we are in Gamma Corvi, waiting to land on Bourne with the diplomat. And here comes the rest of my fleet. Doing pretty good. You wish your passengers luck, 112,000. From the way Alondo's eyes light up when he sees Katya, you can tell that all he wants to do right now is get caught up with her and celebrate her freedom. But he plays the part of a good diplomat, escorting the Republic ambassadors to their new quarters. Along the way, he makes pleasant small talk with them, complimenting their style and sophistication. Knowing him as well as you do, you can tell he is saving up his more scathing comments about them until they are out of earshot. The moment they are dealt with, he gives Katya a hug and says, Katya, so good to have you back with us. The council has 5 members once more. I assume you've been told about Tomek's departure and Blue's promotion? She nods. Londo says, unfortunately, we don't have any ambassadors of our own picked out yet. The Senate insists on selecting them, and you wouldn't believe how slowly Senate deliberations move. They've interviewed half a dozen candidates so far, but found none to their liking. It pains me to say this, but we may have succeeded in creating a bureaucracy every bit as inefficient as the one we rebelled against. That is a great truth. No problem. The important thing is we're at peace, so the decisions can take as long as they need to. Or have you volunteered to be one of the ambassadors? You're an obvious choice. Alondo laughs. No, that's no work for me, he says. The ambassadors, as prestigious as their role may seem, are little more than a symbolic gesture, and being cooped up in an embassy on a single planet while things of importance are taking place elsewhere is hardly a job I aspire to. So, what will we do while we're waiting for the Senate to pick the ambassadors, you ask? Alondo says, we should use this time of peace well to prepare for another battle ahead. Those syndicate ships on New Tibet had equipment I've never seen before, and who knows what else the syndicate has up their sleeves, especially if they've begun producing nuclear weapons. Captain Gremlin, you should take this time to make sure your ship is as well armed as possible for our next strike. Eyes and Katya, what will you do with this time? Katya glances at Eyes and then says, I would certainly welcome a small sabbatical and a chance to spend time together and catch up on all we've missed. Professor Springborn, do you think the conservatory would extend your leave of absence long enough for us to make a trip to Skymoot? I, Eyes laughs. That sounds wonderful, counselor. He says, Blue, do you think you could bring us there on your way to wherever you go next? You tell him you would be glad to, and you all get ready for yet another journey together. All right. We are going to Skymoot. I don't see any of Barmy Morton or whatever his name is, the Barmy guy. I don't see any more of his new tech in here, so we're not going to hang around for that. Um, Job board probably got some people leaving, and we got to stop here anyway. So what do we got? We got mining. mining, escort, escort, escort. Ah, nope, nope. Pirates. Um, three passengers to Oasis I can do. What else we got? How about the Sargus? Passenger, Sun Drinker. Passengers. Okay. All right. So first to Skymoot, I think. And I think some of these people going to Skymoot have been several years, like before the war. All right. Say farewell to passenger. Wish passengers luck. More passengers, money, more money. Scientists hand you, colonists hand you. Say farewell to passengers. As you descend, this is the ones. These guys have been waiting for a long time. As you descend through the upper atmosphere, the skydivers jump from your ship, spectacularly diving until they open their parachutes and land safely near the spaceport. You collect your payment of 120,000 credits. 120,000 credits no matter how many skydivers there are. You drop Eyes and Katya off on Skymoot and wish them well. They both seem eager for a chance to relax, enjoy one another's company, and forget about matters of galactic importance for a while. We'll see you soon, Blue, says Katya. Just be sure your ship is in good fighting shape when the time comes to bring the Syndicate to justice. You receive a short, encoded message from Freya. Hey there, Captain. If you happen to be passing by Rand anytime soon, would you be mind swinging by there to help escort a freighter convoy? We're working on the development of some exciting new equipment, and the convoy is carrying the supplies we need to complete the project. Sure, we can go to Rand. What's next? So now we're at the second breakpoint of the Free Worlds campaign. We get to go out and uh, we don't have to do all these missions, but we can. The red area, Syndicate space, is blocked to us for now because of uh, we're effectively at war with the Syndicate. So we could go to Coalition space, but only the ships with a jump drive can get there, and they would uh, be um, uh, just reconfigured a little bit. Some different outfits, like getting rid of some fuel tanks and replacing them with those big fuel cells that they have there. Uh, but I'd be leaving a lot of these Navy ships behind. We could also go up here to uh, Yahai, um, to High Home, and we talked about having to uh, take your hyperdrive, put in a hyperdrive instead of a jump drive, and the reasons for that, and the reason, if you don't remember, is that uh, they're going to give us a free one if we don't have one. If we have one as cargo, they won't give it to us, but if we don't have one in our flagship, as near as I can remember, they give us one because it's required for this plot line going forward. So we could go to head our way up to High Home. But I'm thinking it's better to go over and jump over to coalition space and configure some of our ships rather than try and upgrade a bunch of them by going into high space and doing missions up there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make this next jump to Kappa Centauri, to Cornucopia. We've had a lot of uh, things there that we put off. So let's go there quick. And there's no rush on the job going up to Rand either. But we will probably do that next, after we go to the coalition space. We may get roped into some jobs there. The scientists have been busy discussing, they prepare for the return journey to memory. That's the $2 million research, or $3 million. Wish a single passenger 5,000. Passengers shuffle unhappily under the eye of the guards. So those are the prisoners kept in the brig. More prisoners. Wish passenger the best of luck on Cornucopia, the family you've been transporting depart your ship. The colonists hand you 405 thousand credits before departing your ship. Eagle to start their new life. And the local militia, here's the one, this has been hanging out there for a long time. The local militia rewards you with 25,000 credits, 250,000 credits for eliminating the Swarm Lord. That was a ship that we took care of kind of inadvertently. We were doing something else when we finally found it, and it just got killed in the process. While walking through the spaceport, you are surprised to see Shirley and Darren Burnback, along with a young man who you recognize as Lay after a few seconds. They greet you warmly, reassure you that Aaron is just off to university on Zug and so couldn't join them on this vacation, and invite you to have dinner with them at the Spaceport Cafe. Accept. You join them, and they listen raptly to your stories of participating in the Free Worlds campaign to remain independent from the Republic. When you talk about transporting the Earth ambassadors to Bourne, Darren shakes his head in something like admiration. You know, he says, I was never quite sure that the Free Worlds hadn't really been behind those awful bombings. But now it looks like I was wrong. In fact, I think I might have been wrong about a lot of things about the Free Worlds Council and Senate. Back then, it's still true that they've upended our lives, but from what I've seen of their actions since, especially with the pirates, they really do seem to have the best interests of the people here in the South at heart. After a round of compliments and words of solidarity from the other members of the family, you finish up your dinner and bid them goodbye. Random color commentary running into somebody. All right. Fleet of large ships, prototype. Yeah, I hate those. Well, yeah, I know I hate those. I think I'm gonna park these guys here and jump over to, with my jump drive capable ships, and get some outfits and such. But I'm going to park most of my fleet here. Whoever doesn't have a jump drive, which is all of these guys. So let's park all and unpark those. And that's it. So now we're going to Silver Bell to Chosen Nexus. Oops. And what did they need? Chosen Nexus needed food. That's what I thought. And I can fire my crew, excess crew, and now I've got less than half what I was paying before. All right. Trading. Sell all. Outfitter. All right. Gotta get these. Yeah. That's right. So sell, sell, sell. Bye, bye. All right. Okay. Sell, buy, and engines are okay. What else we got here? 186. 202. All right. Next one. Has a bunch of fuel tanks. 1800. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, and bye bye. All right. And battery. You know what I'm going to do for battery? I'm just going to look at everybody's battery. Everybody who has one of those should have one of those. That'll make that easy. Yep. Everyone that has that gets that. Then we're looking at fuel. How many fuel tanks it has. 9. What's this one? All right. All right. right. And this one already has. Yep. And this one already has. So we're good. All right. These guys. Yep. All of these guys had. Bye bye. All right. All of those set up that way with the large battery module, and they have fuel range of 1800 now with the jump drives. Okay, I think they're all set. Let's jump back to Kappa Centauri and there we go. And land. All right, now go to Park Local, Unpark, Unpark Local. There we go. So all of the ones that are out and about are pretty much parked. And most of those are fighters of some sort, combat drones. All right. Sell all, job board. What do we save? Rand to continue the project a little bit. Do they have anything? Nope. What do they have? Plastic. All right. More plastic. A lot of plastic. And now we wait for everyone else to catch up, which is fine. It's the perils of having this many ships. Undoubtedly the most massive fleet patrolling the entire galaxy. Following Freya's instructions, you land on Rand and tell the spaceport quartermaster that you've been assigned to escort a convoy to Solace. Ah, yes, he says, the last of their cargo was just made ready yesterday. He leads you to a cluster of landing pads where 3 bulk freighters are parked. The pirates have not been much trouble lately, he says, but the cargo is important enough that they wanted an escort anyway. He leaves before you have a chance to ask any questions about what the freighters are carrying, right? I've done that before. Let's see. Go to the spaceport. Job board. All right. Escort convoy from Rand to Solace. So, to Solace. Accept mission. Yeah, I can make that. 257. Holy smokes. Chill out, guys. No need to get excited. There's plenty to go around for everyone. Alright, everybody's here. You say farewell to your passengers on Solace and collect your payment. You've escorted the convoy safely to its destination. The workers begin unloading some of the very heavy crates, and one of the freighter captains hands you 200,000 credits and thanks you for your protection. No problemo. All right, and I think that's going to do us for now. We've got a bunch of jobs scheduled down here in the south, but I really would like to get up into high space to high home and consider just what my fleet's going to look like. I may sell a bunch of Navy ships and buy a bunch of shield beetles. I don't know. Uh, wouldn't be the worst idea I'd ever had. Anyway, that's for the next time, and I hope you're enjoying watching or not. It's up to you. All right.